Hi everyone, and welcome back to Dynamic Digital World. Today's going to be an episode of Console Watch, to be honest, as well as a bit of AMD news in terms of their new graphics cards, which are absolutely incredible. Links into Console Watch in a lot of ways, actually. And in terms of other news, there's not really much. The NVIDIA RTX 3070 went on sale, but the launch still wasn't great, even with the delay that they put in place. Cyberpunk has also been delayed to December 10th, I do believe. Actually, no, I don't believe I have spoken about that on the podcast yet. That was done in a news article on the site. Speaking of a website, actually, I do have news on a redesign I'm currently working on, literally on my computer right now in front of me. Well as a restructuring of Dynamic Digital World and the Dynamic Digital organisation as a whole. But that will come at a later date in a couple of weeks' time. But let's get started. This is Dynamic Digital World. My name's Luke. Let's get started. So our first story today is Xbox Series X unboxings, PlayStation 5 unboxings, accessories for the PlayStation 5, controller for Series X. It doesn't have many accessories that people have unboxed. Actually, I haven't put that much effort into that sort of thing. To be fair, good idea, just focus purely on the gaming hardware that you're doing. PlayStation, I've discovered this week, kind of officially a lot more reason as to why they're doing things the way they're doing things with all of these accessories. I'll get onto that in a second. But over the last week, we've had unboxings for both of the consoles, retail package unboxings. The PlayStation 5 is out with both companies now. Xbox. So the Xbox retail packaging, we've kind of already seen it in a lot of leaked YouTube videos, but wow, it is stunning. They really did go all out to try and create a very special unboxing experience for the user, which I think is definitely good. I'm paying £450 for this. I do think I deserve, well, I don't think I deserve, sorry, that's completely the wrong way to put it, but I do feel like that does warrant some kind of experience in the unboxing. And that is definitely what you get with the Xbox One box, I would have to say. From the way you open up that lid and kind of flip it over to see the Xbox with Power Your Dreams label on it. And everything laid out in a really nice format where you can kind of see everything. So you can see the Xbox. I mean, there's a small compartment, but it's not like the PlayStation box. By the way, I'm not dissing the PlayStation box. It's a very good way to do it. Where they have the box itself, and then there's where they have the box, you open up the box. On the top you've got this kind of mini box that includes your DualShock controller, a few cables. I don't know if Sony themselves have included a USB-C cable for charging the DualShock controller. I didn't hear it mentioned in the unboxings, but I also didn't hear them say it doesn't exist. Although it doesn't come in a box when you buy a brand new PlayStation DualShock controller. You don't get a console to charge your controller in the box with your controller. And you're paying about 70 quid for that, so yeah. Yeah, it's just, so yeah, but the PlayStation boxing is the same as the PS4, basically. It's not really been made any extra special as far as I can tell. There's no fancy kind of way to open it or anything. Compared to Xbox, they have four kind of sticky tape, 4 pieces of tape around the box, and you can kind of undo it without really using a knife or anything, which is really good for accessibility. And I think the same goes for PlayStation as well. So yeah. In terms of other news though, we found out that AMD's next line of graphics cards are basically going to be there with NVIDIA. So in terms of NVIDIA, you can have NVIDIA and then you have AMD, and they're now fairly neck and neck. This is a drastic shift for AMD with their GPUs actually. Their GPUs have consistently been underpowered and below average on what we'd expect for an NVIDIA GPU. But from what we have seen with the latest NVIDIA AMD slides, is that they are going to be very close, if not identical, in this going into this next generation of graphic cards lineup, definitely making it a better time to be a gamer. Just for reference, the 6800 is almost always matching, if not beating, the 3070. The 6800 XT is in line with the 3080, which a lot of people are considering the kind of flagship of NVIDIA's lineup this year, even with the 3090, just due to the pricing, really. So the 3080 is lined up with the 6800 XT. Again, those two are very close in terms of what they have. And then there's the 6900 XT, which is going up with the RTX 3090, so 6900 XT from AMD going up against 3090 from NVIDIA. So 6000 cards are AMD, 30 series cards are NVIDIA. I just think I clarify that. Going up with the 3090, but for £500 less. So unless you go for the bottom end with the 6800, you are not normally going to be paying less than you would be for your NVIDIA card, with roughly equivalent performance, trading places on a few, both above and below. Like AMD winning some, NVIDIA winning some, as you expect in most things, which can vary test to test. So yeah, it's definitely good to see AMD doing this. I mean, NVIDIA's launch schedule for the 3070 is being met with some skepticism here, but it's also true that they did have to delay it. So, according to quotes from board manufacturers obtained by Gamers Nexus, these manufacturers are unknown and were provided anonymously, but supposedly the reason was because there would have been no cards to ship. A lot of people believe, that's true, but it was also done to kind of sandbag, in a way, to kind of like interfere with the AMD 6000 series announcement, which definitely seems like it's a thing. It hasn't done much to it, but still, it is definitely probably a small part of it. So yeah, that does definitely happen. Now, as for... that's everything now. But the reason I'm bringing up AMD's new cards is because they are the cards, or the technology behind them, RDNA 2, is the technology powering the new consoles, or the Xbox Series consoles. And that's where I go on to Sony and their kind of strategy for this kind of generation with the launch. They have a lot more accessories than Xbox available. They have a HD camera, they have an audio headset, they have their media remote. Xbox do have one phone as well, but PlayStation are really pushing their accessories. And something that's kind of being swept under the rug a bit, unless you're really looking into tech specs and looking for it. And I'm not dissing on Sony for this at all. They've had to do some money saving measures because they don't have the ability to make a loss on their console compared to Microsoft. They just don't. Yeah, Microsoft has billions that they can spend. No, I think it might be millions. But point is, Microsoft have a lot of money that they can kind of just throw away and not have to worry about recouping, because they have got a massive operating budget that they can go into. But Sony kind of can't afford that. And a place where we definitely see this happening is with the with RDNA 1 and RDNA 2 support on the PlayStation 5. So the PlayStation 5 is primarily based on RDNA original, with some RDNA 2 features added on top of it. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series consoles are fully based on RDNA 2 with no RDNA 1, apart from the things that are inherently in RDNA 2, if that makes sense. So, PlayStation is RDNA 1 with RDNA 2 feature packed in. Series X is fully RDNA 2. and Series S. So Series SX, RDNA 2, PlayStation 5, and PS5 Digital are RDNA 1 with RDNA 2 features on top. What this means is that whilst the power gap supposedly isn't very big, it is slightly bigger than you would think of at first glance just from that teraflops number. And that is actually where this whole thing does actually matter. I was previously thinking, just a couple of teraflops, it's fine, it could mean basically nothing. But now we learn that Sony's actually behind Microsoft in terms of technology that they have. Through no fault of Sony's own, they were doing it to save a cost measure, thinking Microsoft wouldn't go fully RDNA 2 on this. But Microsoft recently put out a statement about their console and confirmed that they're the only console with full RDNA 2 support. This is massive for a lot of reasons which I won't go into now. But basically, Microsoft should beat Sony in terms of graphical power on a minor scale. So the fact is, Sony have the ray tracing, they have the really important parts of it that they need, and whilst yes it will make it harder for developers slightly, and it will be worse possibly than the jump between Series X and Series S in a way, just because at least with Series S and Series X you're coding for the same architecture of graphics. It could make it slightly harder for that, but I doubt it. It will. So the point is though, that Sony just kind of doesn't have the same graphical abilities as Microsoft. Personally, I don't think it's going to be too different. I doubt you'll even notice it, but we'll have to wait for full reviews to come out, which are coming out hopefully, I'm assuming, next week. Just because Microsoft have theirs on the 5th of November, according to Colt Eastwood, who's releasing his on 5th of November. And I'm assuming that's the embargo date for all of the other companies as well, with retail units. Because we've had preview units and information on preview units for ages now, so we know what to expect, but the kind of full preview with next-gen games and everything is on November 5th, supposedly. I can't wait for that day, and I can't wait to see it. That's 5 days until the launch, and just looking at things on that day, kind of like 5 days later having the console, or I guess 6 days for me, but 6 days later having a console here in my house, hopefully, is going to be really good and really nice to do. So that's what I'm hoping for, not what I'm sure will happen, but in terms of when I get it. But the reason that this links into Sony's kind of accessories announcement is that it's very similar in a lot of ways to what Microsoft did in 2013, actually. I hate to say it. Sony have the more expensive consoles overall, just due to PS5 Digital Edition being more expensive. I mean, technically it's cheaper, but it's also technically more expensive. It depends how you want to see it. I see it both ways, cheaper but more expensive kind of thing. You can look at it either way. But actually, no. Matching or cheaper, due to the way the PS5 is. Matching and cheaper. The only thing it makes it more expensive than the Xbox Series X. Speaking of the Series X, I actually have a nice paper copy here in my house. I'm not even kidding you, I got so bored over half term because I was in lockdown, and I still am until tomorrow morning. Happy Halloween, by the way. That I made myself a mini Xbox Series X and Series S. So yeah, I got both of these here in my house. Might post a couple of photos onto the blog of a new website when that's up. Actually, I doubt it, these are not good enough. But point is, anyway, where was I? Somewhere. Point is, though, Sony are doing a very similar thing to what Microsoft are doing. Microsoft did in 2013. They're focusing on their accessories. They're focusing on media a lot, actually. They're putting a lot of emphasis on, you have all of these media apps. You'll have Netflix, you'll have Prime, you'll have everything. You'll have all of this. Like, it's important to do, don't get me wrong. But when Microsoft and Cards are going, they all work, you don't have to update them, or developers don't really have to do anything, and then Sony are making a deal out of it, it does show again that they're trying to distract something. And whilst I do understand that, and I don't blame them for that, I also do think, hang on, I've seen this tactic before with Microsoft in 2013, a bit of distraction. What are Sony hiding? And the fact is they're trying to stop you from getting too caught up on tech specs, but frankly, hopefully won't matter. I'm really hoping that with Sony importing RDNA 2, they've imported the most important features. But Microsoft have officially kind of come out and said, yeah, no, we waited for AMD. Like, according to them, they have fully waited for AMD to be ready for all of this. They've waited for AMD. And with them having waited for AMD to finalise their architecture, that means they've had significantly less time to fully refine it. Meanwhile, Sony were ready last year if they stuck with RDNA 1. So, if Sony had released last year with just RDNA 1 features and therefore no ray tracing support, they would have been significantly behind Microsoft this generation. So I'm glad that they did wait, because I don't want to see Sony falling behind, just like I don't want to see Microsoft behind. Exclusive games non-counting in that, obviously, where Microsoft is lagging significantly. I kind of waffled on a bit here. The long story short is Sony's using RDNA 1 still, Microsoft aren't. Microsoft putting out a press conference saying they're the only ones using full RDNA 2. Showing that Sony aren't using RDNA 2. Kind of that, really. Just showing that's what's happening. Now, let's talk backwards compatibility, because this is a very kind of tricky subject, actually. I'm going to put up a couple of websites for this. So, if I just go to PlayStation... Now, as far as I'm aware for PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility, here we go. As far as I'm aware for PlayStation, it is still the same as it was. So, there were a few games that weren't going to be compatible just due to something or other related to them. I don't know what it was exactly. But there are some games that just wouldn't be compatible for some reason. Nothing major. However, recently we got this list of Ubisoft games that supposedly won't support backwards compatibility, but Ubisoft has actually now retracted this same list of games that won't support backwards compatibility, saying that it was an error that they put this on. Now, if Ubisoft have actually retracted this, and therefore it's inaccurate, then that's good, but it does still provide worry that it won't work. Now, the games listed were Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Risk, Werewolves Within, Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, Space Junkies, Assassin's Creed Chronicles Trilogy Pack. In contrast, all Ubisoft games that were developed for the Xbox One will make their way to Xbox Series S and X. Now, this does show that the Xbox Series S, X is fully backwards compatible, and Microsoft have confirmed this. Every game that ran on your Xbox One, be that Xbox 360 or Xbox game, will now run on your Xbox Series X/S or X. This is confirmed. If it ran on your Xbox One, it runs on the next generation. They spent about 570 hours, I do believe, testing all of these, about 500 or so hours testing every single one of these games to make sure it works on the next generation. which is absolutely incredible time to spend on backwards compatibility. I know Sony have probably done similar. But the fact is, when Microsoft are kind of able to go, yeah, as long as it doesn't use Kinect, it works. It really does kind of, because that is literally the story for Microsoft. As long as it doesn't use Kinect, it works. It definitely raises questions about Sony, who have provided a list of 10 games, and then we've got this rumoured list of Assassin's Creed games and some others from Ubisoft that might not work but are supposedly inaccurate. Yeah, it definitely does kind of show a source of no, not a source of story. It definitely shows the story that not everything will work as we might want it to, which isn't the best thing in the world. No, forget isn't the best thing. It's not a good thing at all. So yeah. But still, I'm hoping that this was just an inaccurate list, but I don't see why this list would have been published if it wasn't accurate. So let's hope that it was just a massive inaccuracy and what's in it now is final. But for now, I don't know, be skeptical and don't be holding your breath for the Assassin's Creed Syndicate games. For Assassin's Creed Syndicate or the Assassin's Creed Chronicles games. Whether Star Trek, Space Junkies, Werewolves Within, and Risk. But yeah, that is kind of everything for today. Sorry today's episode has been a bit kind of all over the place in a way. I'm currently working on a redo of the site. Redo of the site! Final topic. Okay, so basically currently the way my site works, oh my gosh, it's an absolute mess actually, I'm not going to lie to you about that. The way it works is that basically I would write it in LibreOffice. Then from LibreOffice, I export it to a HTML document using an extension for LibreOffice. From that HTML document, I then edit that HTML to include the navigation bar, a title. I put things in like the kind of class brackets, I guess. They kind of allow me to format it all and make it look nicer. And then I add in these styling sheets, which basically just kind of give the background and give make everything look the way it looks. And then I would do a test, and then I would publish. So due to, like, you can see that's like 5 or 6 steps to publish every single story. And that doesn't include research and asset downloading and all of that also comes with it. That doesn't include any of that. So that is a lot of steps to take just to create one blog post. And the code is not tidy. It's a pain in the neck to sort out. Every time I do it, I have to change 20 different things to get it working properly. It's a massive pain, basically. So yesterday I just made kind of a decision that enough was enough. Because I'm publishing the cyberpunk story, which is on the website. It's the bottom blog post because I've also got a blog post the wrong way around. Like, you can just kind of see how much of an effort it is to make this and how really annoying it would be to change all of this to make it work differently. So what I decided to do, just to make things easier for myself, is just rewrite the entire site with a new format. So it will look very similar, if not identical, to how it does look now. Yeah, I don't think that the content's going anywhere because it shouldn't be, as far as I can help it. As much as I can help it. But when the new site launches, I'm hoping by the end of the year. Best I can say is end of the year. Hopefully sooner. Much sooner, hopefully. It will have the same thing, it will just be easier for me to publish posts. So, as I said, currently it's 6 or 7 steps from when I write to when I publish. With this redesign, it'll be write the story, give the story a title. It'll basically be write the story and publish. Once I got the initial setup done, the initial setup takes time, and setting up the backbone of how it will work takes time. But once I got that set up, I will then just be able to publish really quickly, just write up a story, put in a few images, done, sort of thing. And that is really kind of where I want it to be at this point, because once I have got kind of the styling of how it's all going to work done, I'm finished. I have done everything I need to do. It's just the styling that I have left now, which makes me really happy that I am almost able to be done with this. But yeah, that is everything for today's episode, actually. Sorry it's been quite waffly again. It's just kind of the nature of this episode. It's a bit of a last minute episode, I'm not going to lie. I was typing up my page and I realised, hang on, I haven't done an episode since the PS5 console kind of unboxing. On that note, the reason I didn't do one since then is because I knew we would be getting a lot of information this week on that, and I didn't want to do a PS5 video and do an Xbox video separately, or I guess I should say episode separately, just because I knew it would be an absolute pain to have to do them both separately but reference them both. And I also didn't want to come across fanboying for either if I was just focusing on one and you only heard one of those stories. So put them in the same one, put in drawbacks, put in advantages, everything. Don't get me wrong, the Xbox does have plenty of advantages, by the way. I want to make that very clear. First party lineup is non-existent on launch day. We have updates to existing games. I can't wait to play. But new games, none. Insiders are saying that Halo Infinite is complete. That is probably not true, as far as I can tell, if they delayed it into 2021. But there are a few reports of Halo Infinite being complete, but I doubt it. Cyberpunk is delayed till December 10th as well. Just another delay for Cyberpunk. Hopefully the last one. If you want more information on kind of backstory of Cyberpunk's delays, it's on Down Digital website, downdigitalworld.co.uk. So yeah, take a look on there, see what you can find. But that's everything for today. My name is Luke, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Yeah, tomorrow's episode, which by the way will be the last of daily episode of what was supposed to be daily episodes. I'm back to school next week, even with the tougher lockdown restrictions enforced in the UK. So I will only be doing weekly episodes at the most, if not bi-weekly. But yeah, thank you for listening, everyone. My name is Luke, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode.